Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary. I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay, this time featuring Darren C in our top right corner playing our red Zerg, and in the bottom left we have DeviantBum, our teal Protoss. Both players are in Masters unless I am very much mistaken. I assure you that I am not, and we're also on Daybreak unless I am very much mistaken, and I assure you that I have no idea what I'm talking about because map names, no, we don't get along very well at all. This is a best of 3, I believe, and we're actually, this is one game away from the semifinals, so the winner for this matchup will go on to the semifinals in the winner's bracket of the GameFAQS tourney, currently going on, hosted by none other than Bone Carlos. So there you go. I like DeviantBum's playstyle. I saw him cast his earlier games and they were banging, and I'm hoping we'll see a repeat of his kind of macro intensive 2-base play. It was nice, it was clever, it was fun, I enjoyed it. You should watch it, it's great. Darren C, I did cast one of his games. I literally just cast one of his games, and that was enjoyable also. I'm trying to remember if he was Zerg in that one or if he was Protoss, because for some reason I'm thinking he was Protoss, but I know there was a Zerg in that matchup, so perhaps I am mistaken. DeviantBum though, this is versus Zerg, throwing down a gateway up on the high ground, which is kind of abnormal. Daybreak doesn't lend itself to that kind of forge fast expand wall off sort of thingy, and we are in a tourney, so this could be cheese coming out of DeviantBum though. What type of one base play cheese can you expect whenever you haven't seen double gas being grabbed? Well, he's grabbing one gas right now, so maybe we will see a DT rush or a Stargate rush or something like that. More likely though, I think DeviantBum is just being a little bit more, not passive, careful. He's just being careful. He's going to get up his tech buildings up on the high ground and then push out and take his expansion whenever he wants to, damn it, because he's cool like that. Darren C, though, is playing more standard, throwing down that hatchery, actually going hatch first, the pool just now getting started, and the extractor finishing almost right on the button. He's going to have plenty of gas once the spawning pool pops, so they can start that speed almost right away, and maybe even tech higher, go into that layer early. Immediately the cybernetics core starts whenever the gateway finishes. It's going to be scouted by the overlord coming down from Darren C. No surprises here. Getting another overlord in position so that he can suicide it in later on. Let's check the gas timing. Still no second gas, so we're beginning to see that DeviantBum is indeed not going for some sort of high-tech cheese like DTs or Stargate, but he's throwing down that forge on the low ground, which definitely tells me that this is more of a careful opening for a fast expansion. That first zealot is out on the field, is going to be just asserting his dominance over any other units that are out on the field. 6 Zerglings though, and with the speed just now getting started from Darren C, I think that zealot's going to be in trouble if he gets caught out in the open. It'll definitely take out a couple of Zergs with him on his way down. So Darren's got his expo. It looks like DeviantBum is well on his way to get his own. He's got 200 minerals. He's got his probe position. So it's gonna be kind of dicey for him. He's only got one gateway out. He's lost a lot of money in the high tech build. He's going for that warp gate early, but that should be another gateway. He should be several more zealots out on the field to defend this probe, defend that pylon, or I mean nexus, which is being built. Speaking of pylons, what's that guy about? I wonder. Well, that warp gate was going to be pretty early, so he was going to be able to warp in 1 or 2 zealots, especially with another gateway on the way. If this had gone unscouted, it could have been very successful. I don't think it's within range of building a guy up on the high ground, but it might just barely be. If there is somebody who would know that range enough, it would be DeviantBum, because you know he's in Masters. You don't get there without knowing the exact range and area of your pylons, especially if you're a Protoss player. Not necessarily if you're a Zerg player. You don't really worry about pylons that much. Still no gas out of DeviantBum. He's using all that extra minerals that he's gaining by not mining off of that second gas to get out this nexus, to get out that extra gateway, to complete that wall off of a zealot, and then another gateway behind that. So this is definitely going to be a very resilient wall off, and maybe that pylon bought him enough time to get out this full expansion. If that pylon hadn't been built, if he hadn't pushed with that zealot a little bit earlier, these Zerglings would have arrived on scene the second their speed would have finished, and this wall off would not have been complete. But now this wall off is complete, and DeviantBum is feeling very comfortable on his 2-base play. So that's actually a really cool play from him, just to buy time for that natural expand. But it was very cautious of him, so it It was nice. I like it, and it forces Darren to take a third because there's no way he's going to be able to burst down this wall with just a handful of Zerglings, but with the photon cannon there to provide supporting power, and then even a sentry to throw down a force field whenever the Zealot gets a little bit tired from hacking away at the Zerglings. Definitely very secure, definitely very safe, which is what I was talking about earlier with DeviantBum. It was a very safe playstyle, and I like it a lot. 2 more gateways adding on with a Twilight Console. There goes a run by from the Zerglings, a couple of force fields down just to cut them up. The Zealot only getting 1 kill, which is disappointing for him, I'm sure, but plenty of other kills spread around the defensive units, and the single Zergling that survived has to pull back, evening up the resources lost, but with the pylon being lost on the high ground, as well as that first ballsy Zealot. Not 100% sure what happened to him, but I imagine it involves Zerglings and a surround of some sort. Maybe even a queen. Who knows? Darren getting an extra 2 gas at his natural. He's already gotten 2 gas at his main, throwing on the double Evo chamber, going for the heavy upgrades. More of a mid to late game timing for him. He's getting the 3rd expansion up in the middle to the right corner. So his economy is going to be pretty much top drawer. Suiciding in an Overlord, seeing that the double gas has finally been grabbed, as well as a Chrono Boost down on the Twilight Console. That's pretty neat. Throwing a Chrono Boost down on the Twilight Console with nothing being researched. So he's going to psych Darren C into thinking that he's going some sort of mass blink stalker build, which is really, really neat. That probe makes it away alive with the Zealot going down. +1 has finished, so he's going to be able to 2-shot those Zerglings. Throwing in a pylon directly underneath the Overlord. I wonder what that's about. Maybe he's trying to trick him into thinking that he's got more warp gates than he actually has. Well, he's got quite a lot, 5 of them. But the 2 gas is not quite done. The tickle cannons are going to town on the Overlords. But probably he's going to die. He's not going to make it out. That Overlord's going to go down. It's dead. +2 is on the way, though. That wall off is still pretty secured. I mean, 2 Zealots are there. They're going to eat away any of the Zerglings. But Darren C, completely unabated in his quest for world conquest. Hey, he's gotten another base. And he's probably got enough money to try for a 4th. Yeah, look at that. 900 minerals. Throwing down the 2 gas. He's just going to have a ridiculous amount of gas so he can get a ridiculous amount of tech. And that tech is going to transition, I assume, to air. I mean, he's getting the Infestor Pit, but that's probably for hive so we can get out that Greater Spire. And with that much gas, what are you going to spend it on besides air? It could be just a ridiculous amount of upgrades. He's got the 1-1 on the way, more than halfway done, and with that Infestor Pit coming out, nice idea there to get the spore crawlers out. Are they spore crawlers? Yeah, spore crawler. Just for some detection. I mean, he's done a really good job of keeping DeviantBum contained. And he saw the infrastructure that was there with that run by. He saw the Twilight Council, so you have to be concerned that that Twilight Council is going to be used later on to get some DTs out. And the detection right at the front door is going to be great for dealing with those DTs. Suiciding in a Overseer, not Suicide though, just drop it down the Changeling. Just going to scout maybe a couple more gateways being thrown on, as well as a Robo. Just one Robo? Just one Robo. +2 finishing as long with Blink. That's interesting that he's decided to go get Blink. I thought it was a psych out by throwing that Chrono Boost on, but I guess not. I wonder what his logic is for that wasted Chrono Boost and then get Blink later on. I would have thought that that'd be an awesome opportunity to completely psych him out. I mean, Blink is very expensive. It's like 200 over 200 or something like that. And you can use that money to get a Stargate instead and get 1 or 2 Phoenix out. And you can see all the Overlords on the mini-map where I'm pointing. Those are all free kills for that Phoenix, and that would put Darren definitely on the back foot by having to pull back all of his Overlords, get a lot of kills. As things are now, though, DeviantBum's going to have a very mobile force. He's got Blink Stalkers with a couple of force field heavy sentries in tow, but Darren C has a very strong economy. He doesn't have the unit composition right now that can deal with that, but wow, 7 Infestors popping out, and they've got the Pathogen Glands. The +1's already done. We're going to be working on +2 shortly for the ground. The armor's also done. So I don't think DeviantBum's going to have much luck with this push. He's got to score some excellent force fields. Really wanted the engagement to happen up by the choke. As things are now, though, the Zerglings have exposed themselves. Surprising not to see any fungal growths down on that large group. This is the choke that DeviantBum wants. He wants to limit the area of effect damage that the Infestors can do, but also limit the surrounds that the Zerglings can get. It's kind of a back and forth sort of thing. You really want to spread your units out, but you want the engagement to happen like right in the choke. Zerglings in the choke, and then your force just kind of south of that choke. As things are now, though, Darren knows that he's on 3 base and Deviant is on 2. So the longer that Darren can hold DeviantBum back, the better off he's going to be. Throwing out some proxy pylons is definitely going to be a significant push from DeviantBum. There goes some force fields up on the north side of the expansion, blocking off the reinforcements of the Zerglings, and more importantly, the reinforcements of the Infestors. Infestors not in range, only a handful of fungal growths down on the Stalkers. Stalkers forcing to blink back. All of the sentries have gone down, leaving only the Stalkers to do any damage. Stalkers with 0 upgrades of any kind except for the weapons that I mentioned earlier. That's +2 though, is more than halfway done for Darren C. So as time progresses, yeah, that push was held back and it was quite a significant push. But Darren's just going to get farther and farther in the lead. He's got a 3 base against 2. He's up on the upgrades, and his tech is pretty good. I mean, he's got those Infestors out. Still no Hive, but I expect to see a Spire any day now because the gas that he's holding in reserve is over 1,000, and that gas is going to just be monumental whenever he transitions to air. Another thing to think about is the upgrades that he's getting is actually ground-based upgrades, so he could be going for... Second I say Ultralisk Cavern, he's like, nope, Spire, Hive, bastard. Yeah, he needed a Hive to throw down the Ultralisk Cavern, I know, but still, what a jerk. +3 being finished for Protoss just now. He's got a lot of sentries up at home, but doesn't really have the infrastructure to push out. He's got a robotics facility done as well as a bay, so he's got the Colossi coming out, but Darren has just a massive number of Zerglings on the field. Those Colossi are going to chew through all of the Zerglings very, very quickly, but with the Spire being built, the Corruptors will be on the field to counter those Colossi. And I don't think DeviantBum has enough time to get out the number of Colossi he needs in order to deal with the Corruptors that Darren C will be able to afford. I mean, look at all that gas he's got saved up. DeviantBum will only be able to produce 1 or 2 at best at a time, and it's just not going to be enough to keep up with the economy that Darren C has. Here comes Darren with a huge number of Zerglings, but again, that choke will really limit the amount of damage that these Zerglings can do. Their upgrades are fantastic. 2-2. Spire's just now going to finish. The Infestors are very happy to spew out some infested Terrans behind enemy lines. Going to go to town on the very weak sentries. A nice fungal growth down on some of them. It's definitely going to be cost effective for DeviantBum because of the choke. But all the Zerglings really can't do any damage. I'm surprised to see Darren really commit to this as much as he is. Maybe he just wants to lose a bunch of Zerglings so that he can get out other units. Or maybe he knew that the timing for the Colossi was coming eventually and he needed to push before the Colossi came out to counter his build order. Regardless, Darren C no longer has a supporting army to protect his Infestors. He's going to have to pull back. Hopefully he won't lose any more Infestors to the Colossi that's now out on the field. A couple of Zerglings are coming out trying to meet up with the Infestors. Surprising to see no Stalkers at all mixed in with this. There goes the Ultralisk Cavern for Darren. I expect to see more Stalkers because you know that anti-air is on the way. Wow, 10 Corruptors coming out. They're going to be able to one-shot that single Colossi out on the field, and then hopefully we'll see a greater Spire shortly behind the Ultralisk Cavern, and we'll get to see some heavier air. It looks like he spent all that gas, though, getting out all those Corruptors. A couple more Infestors to boot. There goes the greater Spire. Fantastic. Darren is just playing this really, really top drawer. DeviantBum is definitely feeling cramped. He's got almost mined out back at home, 45 minerals on that 1 mineral patch. So he's got to make every single unit count because he's not going to be able to hold a third if he just decides to take it, and it looks like he's throwing it down right now. And because Darren's going to be able to just choose where the attack's going to take place. He could send 4 or 5 of these Infestors up there to drop down a bunch of infested Terran and keep DeviantBum on 2 base forever contained, because the second he moves out, he loses that 3rd base. And if he positions his army to the north, then that leaves them exposed to the south, and that's going to be it. 4 Stalkers is not enough anti-air either to deal with all these Corruptors out on the field. Look at them positioning in the middle, just waiting for that Colossi to expose itself. Greater Spire will finish in just a couple of seconds as well. So look at all those upgrades. Holy crap. But DeviantBum, man, that's quite a lot of Zealots. No Stalker, no charge on them just yet. If the Colossi can get within range of those Infestors, deal a bunch of damage to those Infestors, kind of take down their number, I think Darren C's army would melt away. Those Corruptors aren't going to be very effective against the Zealots. The Zealots are going to be incredibly effective against the Zerglings. It's the Infestors that really hold this thing together, and there's quite a lot of them. If for some reason DeviantBum can score a couple of successful hits from his Colossi, he can melt them away and really limit the amount of damage that Darren C's army can do. But right now Darren C is totally maxed, 98 over 200, DeviantBum at 130, so I think Darren C is going to be moving out as soon as these Ultralisks pop. Wow, that's a really good timing too for those Ultralisks. The Carapace is going to finish, as is the weapons, as soon as those Ultralisks come out. And look at that, fully upgraded, 5 to 3. Fantastic, just really powerful. And DeviantBum is basically going to have to choose where the engagement happens. He really wants a choke to limit the damage from the Ultralisk, but he can't afford to let that third go down. And if he decides to protect that third, it's going to be right out in the open. Really bad situation for DeviantBum. Darren C is going to be swinging up into the third. The Photon Cannon's buying him just a little bit of time as the Zerglings, fully upgraded, swing into them. The static defenses go down. Colossi exposing themselves just to Darren C's Corruptor swinging into the right side. The AoE from the Ultralisks going to town on the Zealots, but every single one of those Zerglings have gone down to the Zealots on the left side. One-shotting from the Corruptors, taking down all the Colossi, all the Sun. DeviantBum does not have a force at all. The Ultralisks have done quite a number on DeviantBum's units, and yeah, all the Zerglings have gone down, as well as a healthy chunk of the Infestors. But those Ultralisks are so resilient. This third goes down almost immediately. DeviantBum getting the only thing out that can save him, which is a Dark Shrine, hoping that he can go in and just demolish the economy. But Darren already secured his fourth, so even if he succeeds in taking down one or two of the home bases, maybe even the Greater Spire, wherever it is, it's down by the Natural, I guess. Yeah. Even if he succeeds in taking down the Greater Spire, he's not going to be able to do anything. Darren C's got so many Broodlords out, accompanied by the Ultralisks and the Infestors. This is definitely going to be game over. However, this is just the beginning. This is a best of 3. DeviantBum has a second chance to take a win from Darren C. Don't let this fool you. Darren really just pulled an early lead on the front. Look at that. Some really nice feedbacks on the Infestors. That would have been really cool if that had happened earlier on. I imagine that this matchup would have taken a significantly longer amount. And hopefully the next one will. If you guys have a game you want me to cast, you could PM me here or on Reddit. One way or another, I will see you guys later. I am big and scary. Bye.